Hello everyone. So today you'll be looking into the concept of dearrangements. So I'm Mrs. Archana Priyadashini, Assistant Professor in the Department of IC, Canberra Engineering College. So let's look into the concept of dearrangements. So what is this dearrangements? The permutation of n distinct objects, okay, in which none of the objects are in its original place. So that is called as a dearrangements. We have to find such an arrangement in which none of the objects are in its original place. For example, if I want to say about the 4 integers, so when we permute, so we can give the example of dearrangement, that is 2 is in its first place, 1 is in its second place, 4 is in its third place, number 3 is in its fourth place. So this is one such derangement, that is 1 is not in its first place, right? 2 is not in its second place, right? 3 is not in its third place, right? 4th is not in its fourth place. So none of the numbers or none of the objects are in its original place. So such an example is called as a derangement. So how many such derangements are possible of n objects? It is given by dn. Okay. So if we consider 2 objects, how many arrangements are there? So we denote it by D2. What is D2? Dearrangement of 2 objects. If I take 2 objects here, 1 and 2. So dearrangement is just 2 and 1, where 2 is in its first place and 1 is in its second place. So dearrangement of taken 2 objects at a time is D2 is 1. So let's take 3 objects and find the number of dearrangement. That is, we need to find out D3. Okay, so manually when we calculate, we get the number of derangements are, see, we can have 2, 3, 1, right? And we can have 3, 1, 2, right? I think no other arrangements are there. We cannot have 1, 2, 3, or we cannot have any other possibilities. So we have got several arrangements, right? When we take 3 objects, we have got several ways of arrangements or permutations. 3 factorial ways of arrangements of these 3 numbers, right? That is, we have got 6 arrangements like this, like 1, 3, 2 and 2, 1, 3 or 2, 3, 1 or 3, 1, 2 or 3, 2, 1, right? We have got these many arrangements if we take just 1, 2, 3. So out of this, which is the derangement? So you can observe that 1 is in its original place, 2 is in its original place, 3 is in its original place. But this is not a dearrangement, right? So none of the objects must be in its original place. So 1 is in its original place, so this is not a dearrangement. 2 is in its different place, right? First place. 1 is in its different place, but 3 actually is already there in its original place. So this is not an arrangement. Dearrangement is not a dearrangement, right? 2 is in its first place, 3 is in its second place, 1 is in its third place. So this is a dearrangement. That is what we have written, right? Next, if we compare the next one, 3 is in its first place, 1 is in its second place, and 2 is in its third place. Yes, this is a derangement. Next, if we compare 3, the last one, 3 is in its first place, 2 is already in its second place. So this is not a dearrangement. So we find that D3 is 2, right? Only these 2 derangements. So we'll devise a formula to find out the number of derangements. However, the formula for derangement is given by dnx is n factorial into 1 minus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial minus 1 by 3 factorial plus so on, okay, plus minus 1 whole raised to n by n factorial, right? So this is nothing but n factorial into summation of k is equal to 0. If we take the numbers from k is equal to 0 to n, we get minus 1 whole raised to k by k factorial. So we are using this formula to find out the number of derangements. So let's take a particular generalization, that is, we cannot work for, this is possible only for the values n greater than equal to 1. Okay, so whenever we have got n greater than equal to 7, so there is a different formula wherein dn is generalized to the lower value of n factorial into e raised to minus 1. So this is approximately 0.3679 into n factorial. So we are using this formula to find out the dearrangements whenever the number of objects are greater than or equal to 7. So now let's see a particular problem. They asked you to find the number of derangements, okay, given 4 numbers 1, 2 and 3, 4. Okay. So there are 4 objects, we need to find what is D4, right? D4, as per the general form, we know Dn is n factorial into, what is n here? N is 4. So 4 factorial into 1 minus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial minus 1 by 3 factorial plus 1 by 4 factorial. So how long we need to find out is up till the value of n, right? So up till 4 factorial. So when we calculate, this will be 24, 4 factorial is 24, right? 1 minus 1 plus half minus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 24. So this will be, you can say this is 12 minus 4 plus 1. So we get it as 9, correct? So 9 is the answer. We can also recheck the number of derangements possible with the 1, 2, 3, 4 manually. So however, I have explained this manual kind of extraction of derangements just with the 3 different objects. You can also recheck this back for 4 different objects given. Right? Okay. So next question is, they've asked you to find out, to evaluate, okay, they've asked you to evaluate what is D7 and D8. So when they've asked a number, value of n greater than equal to 7, we know that number of derangements possible is approximately equal to 0.3679 into n factorial, that is 7 factorial. Okay, so what is the value of this? You can find it out, and which is approximately equivalent to 1854, which I have already calculated. So D7 is approximately 1854. Likewise, D8 if you find out, it is equivalent to n factorial, which is 8 here, into e raised to minus 1, which is nothing but 40320 into so we get it as 0.3679, right? So which is approximately 14833. Okay, next question is to find out, they will be giving a problem statement, that is while at a racetrack, the question is, a person bets on each of 9 horses in a race to come in accordance to how they are favored. In how many ways they can reach the finish line so that he loses all the bets? In how many ways can they reach the final so that he loses all his bets? Okay, so this is the question. So continue with the discussion. So this is the problem. So we are given a set of 9 horses, and we have to find the number of ways of arranging the horses 1, 2 up till 9, so that 1 is not in its favored place, 2 is not in its favored place, as well as 9 also is not in its favored place. So we have to find out. That is what this question means. They can reach the final so that he loses all the bets. That means no one is in its normal place. We have to find the derangement of 9, that is D9. So what is D9? You know that it is nothing but e raised to minus 1 into 9 factorial, which is approximately 0.3679 into 9 factorial, which is 133,504. Okay, So similar problem, let's look into another problem. The question is, from the set of all permutations of n distinct objects, one permutation is chosen at random. So what is the probability that it is not a dearrangement? So this is the question. We have to find the probability of dearrangements. So we know that the number of permutations of n objects is given by n factorial, right? So the number of dearrangements is given by dn. So the probability that the permutation chosen is not a dearrangement is given by 1 minus of dn by n factorial. So this represents the dearrangements, and this is the permutation of n different objects. So we know that the probability that the permutation is not a derangement is given by p equals 1 minus dn by n factorial, which is nothing but 1 minus of 1 minus 1 by 1 factorial, right, plus 1 by 2 factorial minus 1 by 3 factorial and so on, plus minus 1 whole raised to n by n factorial, right. So we can write it directly as 1 minus 1 by 2 factorial plus 1 by 3 factorial, right, plus so on, minus 1 raised to n by n factorial. So this is the answer. The next important question that may be given is, there are n pairs of children's gloves. There are n pairs of children's gloves in a box. Each pair is of different color. Each pair is of different color. Suppose the right gloves are distributed at random to a children, to n children. There are n children. The right gloves are distributed at random to n children, and thereafter, so after the distribution of these right gloves, the left gloves are distributed at random. So the question is to find the probability that no child gets a matching pair, and the second question is, every child gets a matching pair. Third question is, exactly one child gets a matching pair. Okay, and the fourth question is, at least two children gets a matching pair. So this is the question which has appeared several times in the university papers. This is about distribution of gloves, and first of all, right gloves are distributed at random, and thereafter the left gloves are distributed. They have asked you to find the probability that no child gets a matching pair. So let's see the solution to the first one. So anyhow, we can distribute n right gloves to n children. So any distribution of n right gloves, okay, to n children, they determine the set of n places for the n pairs of gloves, right? So let us take these as natural pairs, the natural places for the pairs of gloves. So how we can distribute the left gloves to n children? We can distribute in n factorial ways. So according to the first question, the event that no child gets a matching pair occurs if the distribution of left gloves is a dearrangement, right? So first of all, right gloves are distributed, right? So when we can say that no child gets a matching pair, that happens only when left gloves are left gloves is a dearrangement, right? So we are saying that there are n gloves, so and there are n children, and it can be distributed in n factorial ways, right? So we can say that left gloves is a derangement. Distribution of left gloves is a derangement, and this derangement is given by dn, right? So the required probability is dn by n factorial. So this represents the distribution to n children can be done in n factorial ways, and we know that the left clause is a dearrangement. So the answer to the first question is dn by n factorial. So once again you can simplify this as 1 minus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial and so on. You can apply the formula. Okay. So coming to the next question, in the next question they have asked you to find that every child gets a matching pair. That means there is a coordination between the distribution of the right clause and the distribution of the left clause. Okay, the event that every child gets a matching pair, they occurs only in the first distribution of left clause, right? So we can say that the event that every child gets a matching pair, it occurs only in one distribution of left clause. So that probability is given by 1 by n factorial. So this is the answer to the second question. In the third question, they have asked you to find that exactly one child gets a matching pair. So how is it possible that exactly one child gets a matching pair? That means the event that exactly one child gets a matching pair occurs when only one left clause is in its natural place. Correct? If only one left clause is in its natural place, then others all are in the wrong place. That is, we can have the dearrangement dn minus 1, right? So this probability is given by dn minus 1 by n factorial. So only one clause in its natural place, remaining all n minus 1 are in its wrong place. So such kind of probability is given by dn minus 1 by n factorial. So coming to the fourth question. So in the fourth question they have asked to find out at least 2 children gets a matching pair. So the event that at least 2 children gets a matching pair occurs if at least means no child gets a matching pair or exactly one child gets a matching pair. So the event that at least 2 children gets a matching pair occurs if no child gets or one child gets a matching pair. It does not occur, right? So the event that at least 2 children gets a matching pair occurs if the event that no child gets a matching pair or one child gets a matching pair does not occur. Right? So what we are doing is we are finding the reverse, right? So they have asked you to find out at least 2 children gets a matching pair. At least two or more, at least 2 or more, but we cannot find for n children. Therefore, we are trying to apply the condition to the reverse. That is, we are finding 1 minus of the number of children that gets wherein no child gets the matching pair and exactly one child gets the matching pair. So this probability P4 is given by 1 minus of, we need to find no child gets a matching pair. So what is that probability given as? No child gets the matching pair, its probability is given by P1 plus exactly one child gets a matching pair, which is I think P3, right? So this is what we have to find out. So probability of P4 is 1 minus of P1 plus P3. So this tells you that at least 2 children gets a matching pair. So let's take a question. For the positive integers 1 to 3 up till n, there are 11,660 derangements where all these 5 numbers appear in the first 5 positions. They have asked you to calculate the value of n. So we know that the integers 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, they can have dearrangements in how many ways? D5 ways. And the last n minus 5, right? Excluding this 5, n minus 5 integers can have the dearrangements, that is dn minus 5. So totally they have given that there are so many dearrangements, that is d5 into dn minus 5 is given to be 11,660. So now we have to find out dn minus 5 which is nothing but 11,660 by d5, and we know that in case if we have already calculated what is d5, we can directly apply what is the value of d5. So d5 is 5 factorial into 1 minus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial minus 1 by 3 factorial plus 1 by 4 factorial minus 1 by 5 factorial, right? This is 120 into half minus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 24 minus 120, right? So when we calculate this, we get what is d5. So this we will be getting at 44. So we can apply this 11,660 by 44. So you can check the answer. This is what they have asked to find out the value of n. See, we have got 265 here, right? So we know what is dn minus 5 is 265. So how we can find the value of n? So let us try to find out what this 265 means, so that we can apply this in terms of d arrangements. So let us calculate d6. We know d6 is 6 factorial into 1 minus 1 by 1 factorial plus 1 by 2 factorial minus 1 by 3 factorial plus 1 by 4 factorial minus 1 by 5 factorial plus 1 by 6 factorial. So I have already calculated this. This we will be getting it as 720 into half minus 1 by 6 plus 1 by 24 minus 1 by 120 plus 1 by 720. So this is the value of 265. We get 265. So that means this corresponds to d6. So directly we can equate. So n minus 5 equal to 6, right? So what is n? So we get n as 11. So this is a different problem wherein the number of d arrangements are given. We need to calculate the value of n. So next is, in how many ways can the integers 1, 2, 3 up till 10 be arranged in a line so that no even integer in its natural place? So here what they have asked to calculate basically is the value of a1 complement intersection a2 complement intersection till I think a5 complement. So what we are doing is we have to calculate a1, okay. So we know that a1 is the set of all permutations of the given integers where 2 is in its natural place, okay. So we are taking the reverse, 2 is in its natural place. A2 be the set of all permutations in which 4 is in its natural place. So we have to give these definitions first. Likewise, so the number of permutations where no even integer is in its natural place is given by, that is what they have asked, right? It is given by a1 complement intersection a2 complement intersection a3 complement intersection a4 complement. Okay, how many even integers are there? 2, 4, 6, 8 and including 10, right? There are 5. So we need to calculate. So this corresponds to no even integer is in its natural place in this range. Okay, so we have to calculate up till a5. So a5 complement. So this is what we have to find out. So we know that this is equivalent to a1 union a2 union a3 union a4 union a5 the whole complement, which is given by modulus s minus a1 union a2 union a3 union a4 union a5, right? So we have to calculate all these. So we know that there are 10 numbers, 10 integers 1 to 3 up till 10, right, in the question. So we can find out what is modulus s. So these 10 numbers can be arranged in 10 factorial ways. So this is the value of modulus s. Likewise, we need to find out the individual sets. So what is modulus a1? So modulus a1 means 2 is in its natural place. That means if you just exclude 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many numbers are there? There are 9 numbers which can be arranged in 9 factorial ways. Okay. So likewise, if we calculate what is modulus A2 represents the permutations in which 4 is in its natural place. So remaining all they are dearranged. So we can find out the arrangement. Okay, this refers to the arrangement in which 4 is in its natural place. So this is the same arrangement. Likewise, 9 factorial. So how many numbers are there? There are 5 even numbers, right? 5 even numbers where we can say they are in its natural place, that is summation of ai. We can write directly, which is s1. We can say as combination of, out of the 5 integers we are taking one at a time, that is for first time for a1 we are taking 2, for a2 we are taking 4, next even integer likewise. So we are selecting 1 out of 5 even integers and their arrangements is found to be 9 factorial. So directly I am writing what is s1. Got it? So similarly I can write s2. S2 represents summation of ai intersection aj. Okay, and here we are taking 2 at a time and we have to find out the arrangements. That is, if we take 2 and 4, the set will consist of these numbers 1 3 5 6 8, okay, 9 10. So we are having, so out of 10 numbers 2 are taken. Okay, I think I excluded 7. These are the numbers. So we have got 8 numbers. We have removed 2 and 4. This is for the selection of 2 at a time, taking 2 and 4 in its natural place for the first time. If you take, so these many numbers we are having. So there are 8 numbers which can be arranged in 8 factorial ways. Likewise, if we take the next 2, 4 and 6, we will be again getting 8 factorial. Next, if we take 6 and 8, we will be getting 8 factorial. Like that, there are 5 even integers and for each of them will have 8 factorial kind of arrangements. So taking 2 at a time, that's why we written C of 5, 2, which corresponds to S2. Okay. So next, if you find out what is S3, which is nothing but summation of ai intersection aj intersection ak, that is taking 3 at a time. That is, for the first time if we take 2 is in its natural place, 4 is in its natural place, 6 also is in its natural place. So the remaining numbers are 7, right? So and these 7 numbers can be arranged in 7 factorial ways. So in the combination of 5, 3, are taking 3 at a time in each set. So and the arrangements in each set will be 7 factorial. So for S4, we have to calculate up till S5, right? So this represents the combination of 4 objects out of 5. And if we find that there will be 4 objects here, like 2, 4, 6, 8 will be taken together. So out of 10, 4 are already excluded. So 6 objects or 6 numbers, 6 remaining numbers can be arranged in 6 factorial ways. So this applies to all the combinations of the 4 objects or the 4 numbers we take out of these 5 even integers. Okay, so the arrangement is same, 6 factorial. So similarly, if we find out what is S5, okay, S5 is the selection of all the 5 even integers out of the 5 even integers. So when 5 even integers are already selected, so the remaining integers are again 5 and its arrangement is 5 factorial. Okay, so this is how we write it, and we have to find out what is a1 complement intersection a2 complement intersection a3 complement intersection a4 complement up till a5 complement. Okay, so this is given as I have written, I think I have already simplified this to this particular result. So this is modulus says, that is 10 factorial minus, so substitute the values for all these. Okay, substitute the values. So 10 factorial minus C of 5, 1 into 9 factorial, which is S1, plus C of 5, 2 into 8 factorial, minus C of 5, 3 into 7 factorial, plus C of 5, 4 into 6 factorial, minus C of 5, 5 into 5 factorial. So that is how we have to write it over here. So I will be writing it C of 5, 1 into 9 factorial. Okay, then this is S1 what I have written. S2 is plus C of 5, 2 into 8 factorial minus C of 5, 3 into 7 factorial, right, plus c of 5 comma 4 into 6 factorial minus c of 5 comma 5 into 5 factorial, correct? So this is the answer. So if you want, you can also simplify this further. So when you find out the answer to this question, you will be getting it around 21,70,680. Okay. So these are all the problems you may get in rearrangements. So next video presentation will be regarding Root polynomials. Thank you.